It's me. I'm like a goth Tinkerbell because I'm a goth, and if you don't pay attention to me, I wither away. Hello, good morning.
Oh, good morning, BBs. It's too early.
It sure is.
Welcome to the first, best, and only morning show in existence. I'm Anthony Carboni.
And I'm Saige Ryan. And today, we have a sponsor on It's Too Early.
That's right. Hey, do you eat? Have you tried food? We think you should. And do you know who else thinks you should? HelloFresh.
We are sponsored today by HelloFresh. You can use the link in our chat and the code that is popping up on screen and in that chat bot as well to get 21 free meals and free shipping. I'll be honest, when they sent that to me, I thought it was a typo.
I did the math. That's over 3 years of meals.
Uh-oh, Anthony.
No? Is that wrong?
I'm the only one at this table that's allowed to be bad at math. It can't be both of us.
I'll redo the math. Listen. You should go to the code and do the thing because HelloFresh has really yummy meals and they bring them straight to your ding dang door.
Now, you've used HelloFresh before.
I have used HelloFresh before. Let me tell you something. I may have the appearance of an adult male.
May.
I may.
Uh-huh.
I don't want to assume anything, but I may. And yet, I lack some adult skills. I know. You'd look at this guy who shows up to work in a beanie and a sweatshirt, and you'd say, that guy has his life together. He knows exactly what he's doing. Not always true. Not always true. And so I'm not the best at shopping and meal planning. And what I really love is that HelloFresh makes that sort of thing easy. They deliver these limited time recipes with produce and proteins, and they put them right at your doorstep for you to make yourself. They come with recipes. They're very easy to do.
That's very nice. I've never gotten to try HelloFresh, so at the end of the show today, we're going to order a box because Saige don't cook for herself. Saige don't feed herself enough and doesn't feed herself very good things. I've been surviving off of chicken nugs for too long.
Yeah, listen. Sometimes your outsides look okay, and then you go to your doctor, and your doctor says, did you know that on the inside, it's hollow and gooey? That's because you're not eating anything right. And I go, huh.
You kidding me?
You gotta eat right now? I do like cooking, but I am very, very bad at meal planning.
Yeah.
And I am super, super bad at shopping for meal planning.
I don't even mind cooking. It's not that I dislike cooking.
Yeah.
It's that I never make time to cook.
Yeah.
Then I have to think about ingredients. I have to go to a grocery store and I have to guess what I'm going to put in it. No, absolutely not. So anyways, we'll revisit that at the end of the show. For now, should we get into some news?
Let's give me news. What's news? What have you been up to? What's new? Let's talk about what's news with you.
Nice, very good. I'm very tired. I've been shooting with, and I can say this because we were allowed to, Alienware all week, which has been very, very fun. I got to go and sneaky see some stuff that you can't see yet. That will come out eventually. But I've been on set with dear friend of the show and dear IRL friend, Trisha Hirschberger.
Yeah.
I got to tell Trisha, because Trisha and I have been friends for a good while now, but this is probably like the most consecutive time we've ever spent together.
Yeah.
And I got to tell Trisha that like a show that she hosted was the reason I wanted to host.
Oh.
Which was very, very nice. I got to be like, just so you know, I didn't know it was a real job until I saw you do it.
Like, what were you? Were you a SourceFed kid?
I was.
Wow.
Yeah. I was just like, I didn't know that could be a job, and I just want you to know that I think you're really cool.
She's the best. I love her.
How are you, Anthony?
I'm good. I texted the two of you because I was jealous that you were hanging out without me. I was jealous. I'm good.
What have you been up to this week?
I watched Velma.
Oh.
You know, HBO Max wanted another Harley Quinn. And so I think they thought Velma was going to be another Harley Quinn, and it wasn't hitting for me. wasn't hitting for me.
It's had a lot of very valid criticism. Even I haven't watched it yet, but I've seen a lot of clips and screenshots that told me I don't need to.
It's got a lot of it's Mindy Kaling is the executive producer. She didn't write episodes or direct episodes, but she's the EP on it, and it has a very like Mindy Project comedic tone to it, which can be a little like, I don't know. I think one of the nice things about the Scooby Gang, about the mystery team, is that they are very supportive of one another.
Yeah.
And the show is not like that. They're very combative towards one another. And it's okay because it's an origin story, right? And it's like, oh, well, maybe they're going to get together and be friends. Even the movie, the live action movie, starts with them from a place of like, we're not friends anymore. We don't get along.
Movie has no business being this.
It just should not be as good.
It shouldn't.
But like, the characters are not even themselves yet.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's, you know.
Like they changed the personality of the characters basically to fit the jokes that they wanted to tell. Whereas I think the big thing that works for Harley Quinn is it understands the characters.
Absolutely.
And uses who the characters are to tell the jokes that they want to tell. And I don't know. It's just very, they're always at each other's throats, and it's very like somebody said it's just hatred, and it really is. Like, it's just everybody hating on each other.
That was Cognoggin, and also wanted to point out, Cognoggin also said Velma's the lowest rated show of all time on IMDb. Is that real?
Wow.
Whoa.
Here's the thing. We already got Mystery Inc., which was like a little more grown up.
Yeah.
And like all they had to do was just age up Mystery Inc. a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I think it would have been perfect for them.
I personally don't need like an adult version of all of the things I enjoyed as a kid.
Yeah.
I also know I say that from the perspective of somebody that will very comfortably at 27 years old just sit down and watch the cartoons I enjoy.
Yeah.
And I know that that's not the case for all adults, but for me, I'm like, I don't need an adult version of Courage the Cowardly Dog. It's a good show.
Yeah.
I could just sit down and watch that. That's very good. I'd love more of it.
Yeah, that's exactly the thing. It's like if some things lend themselves to the like adult now tone. Harley Quinn definitely does, right?
Yeah.
But you know, the Batman universe and the Batman characters lend themselves to that.
And the villains.
And the villain, yeah. And so it's like the Scooby Gang doesn't need that.
No.
You know?
Well, that's deeply unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, hire women that like other women. I recommend it.
Mindy Kaling Get Over High School Challenge.
Also, before we get into the news, I just want to say hello and welcome to all of our new moderators.
Yes, hello.
We expanded our mod team, and there's so many lovely people that agreed to step up and help us out. We have a lot of incredible, really exciting new things coming up in the next year. I say incredible because, man, my friends are real talented, and they've got some very good ideas, and big stuff is happening. So thank you for being a part of it. We love you. You're wonderful, and we're very, very grateful that you're part of the team.
Yeah, welcome. There is some big news this week.
Big news.
Finally, we have the PSVR launch titles. PlayStation came out just swinging. They said, hey, we've got 30 titles out during launch window. And not only are we saying that, we're going to let you know what launch window means. And that means within a month after the launch of the PSVR. That's pretty good. So I got excited. And then I went and I looked at these titles, Saige.
Yeah.
And these look pretty familiar. These PSVR 2 launch titles, I feel like I might have seen some of these before.
Is it Tales from Galaxy's Edge? Yeah.
Yeah, so Tales from Galaxy's Edge is already out on PSVR. Moss, obviously, Res Infinite, Tetris Effect Connected, Resident Evil Village, Creed. A lot of these are already, obviously, Job Simulator. A lot of these are PSVR 2 versions of PSVR games.
Book 2. Was Before Your Eyes on PSVR?
No. So Before Your Eyes was not on PSVR. Before Your Eyes used webcam functionality on the PC, right? Where you can close your eyes and
No,
open
that
it.
is a different one, I think.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. Let me.
No, I think that's it. Yeah. Because that's the game where every time, that's the game where every time you blink, time passes, and so they're using the eye sensor of the PSVR2.
It's a really sad one. I streamed it.
Yeah.
I forgot that it actually had the integration. You can turn it on or off. I only asked because that game owns, and I enjoyed it very much. Before Your Eyes was beautiful.
So now we're kind of looking at this, and we're like, okay, well, what's left over, and what's new, and what's big out of the things that are new, and I'm excited about Fantavision 2020X. Because I love Fantavision, but Fantavision is a PS2 launch title that not a lot of people remember.
I don't.
It'll look great in VR, but it's not like the hugest thing. Obviously, we have Horizon. No Man's Sky was already in PSVR. So we're not seeing Thumper was already there. So we're not seeing a lot of new stuff. And the thing that's like kind of a bummer about this is we already know that all PSVR titles are not moving to PSVR 2.
Right.
So these are reworked versions of those original titles. And you might be asking, hey, if I already own those, what happens? Well, all we know so far is that if you own Tetris Effect on PSVR, you can pay a $10 upgrade to get it on PSVR 2. So
you don't have to fully repurchase it, at least.
No, but that's just what we hear from Tetris Effect. So that's very particular and specific, right?
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
for something like all of these games say Enhanced Edition, Complete Edition. Creed is the Championship Edition. After the Fall is the Complete Edition. Star Wars is the Enhanced Edition. So it becomes a question of, am I paying for these again if I want to use PSVR 2? Now that's a lot to ask when half your launch lineup is not brand new and your headset is like a $600 headset. It's not cheap.
No, it's a very expensive headset.
It's not cheap. Now, obviously these games, are getting are getting upgraded. They're going to be in the new resolution. They're going to have the new frame rate. They're going to have the new face detection, eye detection, all of that stuff. So that's exciting, but where's the club banger? Is it Horizon?
Is it Horizon? I mean, maybe.
It's got to be Horizon. Like, that's what they're counting on.
It could be Tentacular.
I mean, look, Tentacular is an adorable looking game.
I would very much like to play this. I haven't seen this. Look at you. You're big with tentacles.
Yeah, you are a kaiju monster in a fishing town, and your job is to help.
That's awfully cute. I'll admit, I'm a little bummed that's not going to be on my Oculus.
Well, the thing is, Saige, what if I told you that Tentacular was already on Steam and available for your Oculus?
I have no more qualms. And no need for a $600 headset.
Now, that's the thing, is some of these are obviously already PC titles, but there may be PC titles that did not do super well, weren't crazy visible. But one thing that the PlayStation portfolio team is good at is picking games that do show off their hardware and do look good. So Tentacular, great idea for PSVR. It's going to be great to bring it to the mainstream. But if you do a little digging, some of these are available to you in other places.
Damn.
And so for me,
I tried to give them one.
I know, right?
I tried.
And so that's the thing, is like Horizon's their club banger. That's what they're thinking is going to work. They also have this NFL Pro VR, which is a football game. It's the first officially licensed like NFL game that's like in VR, and it's kind of cool. You're like the quarterback and you're throwing passes and you're on the field, and I'm like, that's pretty good. And then for me, and like 12 other people, is probably Fantavision.
Yeah, those are the bangers.
God damn, I love Fantavision.
I'll play Fantavision.
But like, so I'm questioning this. The PSVR, the original PSVR, was the top selling VR headset of all time at the time.
Right.
Had the strongest launch, had the biggest install base. It was bigger than the Oculus at one point. Pre-Quest, it was bigger than the Oculus, or Quest 2, I think. So, you know, they had a lot of success with it, but I think like we've been talking a lot about what's it going to take to get VR to the next level. And right now I think it's, you know, $600, $700. We're still at the enthusiast level. Because keep in mind, you have to have a PS5, which is already hard enough to get.
Right.
And an expensive console.
I think if we were at a point where like a baseline was having a PS5, like, yeah, like, you know, the majority of people who want a PS5 have it. There's always going to be like prohibitive level of price on consoles. But, you know, like at least everyone who wanted one could get one that like could afford to get one. If we had that baseline, it would be like, well, if you've had your console for a year, it's been over a year since you spent $600 on your console. Maybe next year you get to spend $600 on VR.
Yeah.
It's a specific use case, but right now, for a lot of people, that would be spending $1,200 because they would need both.
Yeah, and that's just, it's tough when there's already a perception of VR that that people launch VR hardware and then developers don't support it, or the hardware, the platforms don't support it, and that's something that's already in the back of people's heads. So when the back of your head is, yeah, it came out, and listen, PlayStation supported the heck out of PlayStation VR. They released a ton of titles. They funded a bunch of titles, but at a certain point they had to say, okay, now we got to step back and see if the ecosystem can take off. Right. And it didn't. Yeah. And so everybody knows that. You come in, you see like, okay, well, what are they going to do for PSVR 2? And it already looks like they're being very cautious with their funding and the games that they're releasing. And that to me says, maybe I hold off on this PSVR 2. Yeah. Do you know what it really says to me, Saige? I've had my original PSVR in the tub of things to sell on Etsy for like 8 months.
On eBay.
eBay for 8 months. No, it's a handmade PSVR. I added, maybe I should put it under vintage. I should put Swarovski crystals on it and put it on Etsy.
Bedazzle it.
I've had it in the tub of things to sell on eBay, and I kept just not doing it. What am I going to get for it now? Nothing. This thing comes out, this PSVR 2 comes out in a month.
Damn.
I done messed myself over is what I did.
Yeah, you goofed it, man.
I goofed it big. Goofed it big.
Not the Lysander in the live studio audience said Call of Duty or 2K or Madden on the VR would take it to the next level. Once the normies want VR, then for real, then it's mainstream.
But people have tried, right? Like, what's the thing that's going to do it? Because they put Gran Turismo on there. They put, like, Skyrim was on there.
Right.
What's it going to take? Resident Evil.
But I do agree that Call of Duty, the reach of Call of Duty is very different.
That's true. That's true. And, you know, everybody's relationship with Call of Duty is really good now, including, like, particularly Sony. Sony hasn't talked any garbage about Activision or Call of Duty lately, so it could happen.
Could be fine.
It could be fine. Hey,
and like, I don't want to play Call of Duty. I don't want to play it on the PSVR 2. Yeah. But a lot of people probably would flock to it.
It's true.
I think there'd be a lot of COD bros.
It's interesting. It's. Yeah, what's it gonna take? I mean, and COD is the big thing. Maybe it is COD. I don't know. And we know that Microsoft is not interested in the VR space on the console. What are we interested in, folks? The answer is Fantavision.
What is this?
Fantavision is a game that has this weird like 60s jet setter vibe, and then when you get into it, like this opening is just like this family like playing Fantavision, but it's like weird, creepy, friendly. And then when you get into the game, what happened? Oh, I don't know. We went to Kind of Funny. Wait, here we go.
Oh, hey, shout out to Kind of Funny.
Shout out to Kind of Funny, who we love. But then when you get into it, you got to chain fireworks together by color to make them explode. Yeah. And this was like a PS2 launch title. And man, This blew my mind. You have to think about seeing this in the year 2001. This blew my ding dang mind. We're flying over a city.
Sure, man.
Fireworks. I'm setting them off. There are particles everywhere.
Sure.
There's like this ba 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 da ba. Like, it's so good. So I'm excited for Fantavision VR, but I don't know if that's your system seller in the year of our Lord 2023.
No, it's distinctly not. It's not. But I'm curious to see what else they come out with. Obviously, this isn't everything that'll be on the PSVR 2. These are the launch titles, and I will admit, because like the PS5 had the launch titles. They didn't end up, a lot of them ended up getting delayed, but like that first PS5 showcase was like, we got exclusives. Like, we got the game. Yeah, they had Gorilla and Santa Monica churning out some content. I mean, you know, just in like the first couple months of PS5, we were like, oh, I get Miles Morales and a New Horizon and like yes, of course. Yeah. Of course I'm going to get this. But then I couldn't get it. And then you couldn't get the games. But I don't know. I listen, I'm somebody who wants VR to take off as big as VR can take off, but I think right now the place for that is still on the PC, and I think the headset for that is still the Quest 2. Yeah. I think that's the cheapest, easiest, best return on investment. But that's okay. PlayStation had another huge announcement. Tomb Raider is coming back, baby. Tomb Raider's back in a big... We were worried. Crystal Dynamics. We were like, what's going to happen? Who's going to do something fun with Tomb Raider? I miss my Tomb Raider. When's the next big Tomb Raider coming? And PlayStation said, we got you. We got you. Tomb Raider is coming to Power Wash Simulator. Hey! Genuinely? I'm so into it. Honestly? I love it. You have to clean a version of Croft Manor that apparently... Lara's been lost in the Himalayas, in all honesty. Right. She's been doing stuff. She's been using her climbing sickle on dudes. I mean, I love this. Now God Noggin said, or you just go outside and power wash things. Do you have a power washer? First of all, is that a thing you own? That's work. This is a game. Yeah, it's like going outside and power washing. That's work. You have to do power work. Washing is dangerous. I don't have a power washer nor property. What am I going to power wash somebody else's front walk? What am I going to get? Going to start a trade that makes me money so I don't worry about income anymore? Get wrecked. No. Power washers are dangerous pieces of mechanical equipment that can give you owies. And nobody stands behind you the whole time going, ding, you did good. Ding, you did good. Ding, you did good. When it's done if it doesn't say 100%. I love the idea because I have memories. I am running around Croft Manor years old. You know what I mean? In Tomb Raider, like the running around in Croft Manor and the training of it, I was just like, this is amazing. Incredible. And the butler was there. Yeah. What's his name? Wadsworth is Clue. Worcestershire sauce was the name of the butler. Like Serial said, I also don't have a mansion caked in mud to power wash. Thank you very much. Yes. Yes, exactly. You got to put the butler in the fridge. And you remember putting the butler in the fridge? Listen, before we were fridging women in media, we were fridging butlers in video games. Listen, Anthony? Yeah. I started Power Wash Simulator somewhat recently. Mm-hmm. I play a lot of House Flipper, which does have a cleaning mechanic to it that I really enjoy. I was like, I'm finally going to play some Power Wash Simulator. Can I tell you something? What? I like just watching other people play Power Wash Simulator. I've watched people do it, and I'm just like, how soothing. I was like, I'm so stressed out. Anthony, I've been so stressed out. I got 2 nosebleeds this week. And my watch. 2 nosebleeds and 1 piercing. That's how stressed she's been. No, the piercing's older now. That's true. My Apple Watch keeps telling me, like, while I'm panicking and stressed, it keeps going, keep going, because it thinks I'm working out. So
there you go.
So I was like, I'll play some Power Wash Simulator. It'll be very relaxing. It turns out you can actually be too stressed for Power Wash Simulator, because I got there and I looked at it and I was on one of the first maps, like within the first 3. And I was like, there's too much.
It's
I'll never do it.
What am I?
I'll never be able to finish this. There's so much of it.
What, there's a little railing down there I didn't even see? Who can keep up? Who can keep up?
I got too stressed and I shut it off.
I love that. Well,
like, it's too much dirt.
It's too much dirt.
I was overwhelmed.
Yeah, you got to be in the right mood for Power Wash Simulator. That's the thing, is like, you have to be ready to be soothed. You know what I mean? If you're not ready to be soothed, if you don't go in and you're like, this is a thing that I'm doing because I enjoy, like, the nooks and crannies of it all.
Yeah.
If your brain's not in that space, it's so much. It's so much to do. Like, honestly, sometimes I'm watching people. This is the other reason why real power washing doesn't interest me. And sometimes Power Wash Simulator doesn't interest me. I'll watch people play in Power Wash Simulator. And I'll be like, this has got to be over. This level's got to be over.
And they're just trying to find that one last little bit.
Yeah, and it's just like, no, there's so much more to do. And I'm like, I don't want to. How can you want to?
Yeah.
No.
Anyway, that's the biggest news of the day.
That's the biggest news of the day. Is it's coming to Power Wash Simulator. This is DLC. I don't believe that this is. I don't think this is PlayStation exclusive. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I think PlayStation was just announcing that it's coming to PS4 and 5.
That makes sense.
What else do we got?
It's pretty big news.
Pretty big news. Yeah. Pretty big news.
We talked about it when it was announced, but Disney Lorcana, the first chapter, we got an actual release date for it. The game, which is a physical card game that can be compared supposedly to Magic the Gathering, they've released some information about the system and the gameplay, and it seems very interesting, is going to be released starting in August of 2023.
That's great. We also got to see get some details about starter decks and characters. Ravensburger is making this, so they've got the pedigree. We've talked about that before. God, that Aladdin art's good. All of this art's good. Look at that Aurora art. Dang. So Lorcana is going to be coming in a few different sets. It's going to be released to local game stores and then a mass retail launch. So they're going for gaming retailers first, which I think is great.
Hey! When I read that, I was like...
That's huge.
Like, really? Like, that's awesome.
So if you're somebody who doesn't go to local game stores, or you're not into this stuff, but you're a Disney person and you want to play Lorcana, you're going to have to go to, like, a local retailer and search it out.
At a local game store.
I think that's great. Also, Gen Con, you will have an opportunity to purchase the starter decks there. So that's pretty exciting. There are going to be 200 game cards available in various products, including starter decks, booster packs, gift sets, and the Illumineers Trove. Now, that's the big box. It's going to have 8 booster packs, 2 deck boxes, the player's guide, and the themed storage box.
Figure out which box that is. There's so many boxes. There it is.
Yeah, it's the
all of them together. It's the big one.
It's the big boy. It also is going to come with Mulan and Hades, guaranteed. 2 oversized foil cards to, like, hang. 2 actual foil game cards. 4 booster packs and game tokens. You're also going to be able to buy playmats, card sleeves, deck boxes, card portfolios, all Lorcana themed. I think it sounds pretty good.
Anthony?
Yeah.
I shouldn't.
We really shouldn't. We really shouldn't.
What?
We really shouldn't.
But I'd kinda like to.
I mean, how would we even get the money? How would we get the money to, I mean, if somebody, like, we would need to make some income in order to, afford something like, I don't know. I don't know where we would even. So there's 6 inks, which are basically your colors, your types of magic. Amber and amethyst, emerald and ruby, steel and sapphire. Those are going to be your starter kits that you can get. So those will be like 2 decks, and with different characters themed towards that. So you'll be able to get your starter decks. The decks are when you buy a deck. And booster packs together, or one of the play sets together, like they basically guarantee, a certain number of rares, a certain number of foils, a certain number of that stuff in every booster pack and every deck.
I like the Hades as a starter.
Yeah, I think that's cool, right? Hades and Mulan as a starter's good. I mean, I want that Jack the Giant Killer Mickey so bad. The Jack the Giant Killer Mickey is a very good starter set.
Look, I'm going to at least buy a starter set.
Yeah. I mean,
I know I will. I simply know that I will.
I mean, because I like the art of them at the very least.
Very good.
Somebody asked if Scar's in it. We don't know a lot about individual characters, but I can tell you this: right here on the starter decks, we have like the split decks come with, one of them is Aurora and Simba. And I would imagine if Simba's in it, then Scar's probably in it.
Yeah.
But it's
some villains in there.
But it's right next to, what I like is 2 Mickey starter decks, right? So you can either get Moana and Sorcerer's Apprentice,
which I'm very into and probably where I would start.
I think that's a great starter set. Or you can try to get the Jack the Giant Killer Mickey, which is where I want to go, but I think he is only booster packs.
I'm more of a Moana girly.
I do like the Cruella Aladdin deck. That speaks to me.
Aladdin deck.
That speaks to me in a very deep way. But yeah, they're being very smart about what characters I think are sort of boosters. So when you look at boosters here, it's like, you want Maleficent, kind of a booster. You want Elsa, thank you. Elsa,
I do.
Booster, and then Jack the Giant Killer is a booster as well.
The Aurora is also beautiful. Like, it's the art, man.
It really is.
It's just, you got me on the good art.
The art and design of it is really wonderful. I mean, that's what got me into playing Mirrorverse for about a month, the Disney mobile game.
Oh yeah.
Where they had all the characters like as real kind of fantasy warriors. I really enjoyed that.
I mean, that's the other thing too, is like, I didn't think that I was going to stick with Disney Dreamlight Valley. I was like, oh, okay, it's cute, we'll try it. I'm still deep in Dreamlight Valley.
Yeah, I mean,
I love this game.
Disney's doing a great job with their entire gaming division lately. The last couple of years, they've really stepped it up. The whole team over there is like crushing it.
Very interesting.
Crushing it. And I think one of the things that they're doing is they're simultaneously being more permissive with the license, but also making sure every idea is true to the characters, if that makes sense. Like, where they used to be like, we're only putting out a couple games and they've got to be really big and they have to be like according to the Disney style guide entirely.
Yeah.
Now they're going through, because, during like the PS1, PS2 era, it was just like Disney games were just like every 13 seconds there were Disney games, you know? But I feel like, and then they went through a period where they were very guarding things digitally. And now I feel like they're being very like permissive, but in like an interesting way. When you think about things like Mirrorverse or like Star Wars Bounty Hunters or things like that, where it's like, if you're going to make like a smaller game or like a mobile game, have fun with it. Let's see what you can do. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. In some other big gaming news, we got a little bit of a screenshot leak for the Suicide Squad. Now, we're not going to show this image because WB has been DMCAing everybody because
it's gone anyway.
Like, it's gone. Like, you can find it if you want to. It originated on Reddit, so that should tell you it's still there. But
and all it is, to be clear, is not a leak of the actual game content. We're very anti-leaking games before they're out. It is a first look at the Suicide Squad game menu. It mentions a battle pass, loadout, and missions-based structure. So this just gives us a little bit of insight into what kind of game Suicide Squad game is going to be.
And people were very concerned about it. They really were. Because one of the things that the screenshot showed is it showed multiple different kinds of experience, multiple different kinds of like basically in-game currency, right? Yeah. Is what it looked like. It looked like there were 6 different kinds of in-game currency. It looked like, you know, people were buying season passes. It looked like they were leaning pretty heavily into the live service of it, which people were very worried about because, I don't know, I think number one, we're kind of like, whether corporations are yet or not, we're sort of tiring of live services. I don't need everything to be a live service. But number two, I don't think people really wanted this game to be a live service. You know, when you think about Rocksteady and you think about the Arkham games and things like that, you really don't want, I think a lot of people were like, I don't want to do seasonal progression in this game. I want the campaign. I want the interesting stuff. I don't know if I want as much of like, pay your money and get a skin in Suicide Squad.
I'm not terribly surprised by the news. If this had just been like announced with the game and not leaked, I would have been like, yeah, of course, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm not particularly bothered by this personally. I think it really depends on the kind of game for me. There's a lot of games where I'm like, that should not be a battle pass. Like, that's ridiculous. I don't want to come back to that. I'm somebody who's pretty excited for the Suicide Squad game, and that is something that I don't mind being a pass situation based on the kind of gameplay it is. But again, it's really dependent on the gameplay because I don't, like, from the trailers of what I've watched about the Suicide Squad, I'm like, I want to co-op that. I want that to be a social game for me, which is usually the kinds of games that I don't mind paying for a subscription in.
Yeah, because
like, I find my Sea of Thieves Battle Pass. I love to pay for my Sea of Thieves Battle Pass. I love the stuff on it. If they give us good progression on it and stuff, I don't terribly mind.
Well, I think about, you know, the Arkham games previously and the DLC packs and things like that for it. And I didn't mind, you know, paying a little bit of money to get classic costumes, things like that. Like if I can get like the classic Captain Boomerang costume, or obviously there are going to be a lot of different Harley costumes. Yeah. Like, I think that's pretty cool. What they said was, but Rocksteady sort of came out and was like, hey, okay, this screenshot came out without context. So let's talk a little bit about it. The currencies that were shown at the top of the leaked image are actually different types of XP, which you can use to customize the skill trees of each different hero. Basically meaning you can level up who you want when you want. So if you're the sort of person who wants to play more, I guess, with one type of character and you want to level up that character more, you're able to, and you get different XP for all the different characters. So, so it's not, all of that was not paid different currencies. The other thing that Rocksteady said to VGC when they reached out was, you do not start out debuffed and weak. That is not what this game is about. You start off great and you can get ridiculous. It's like Arkham Knight's Batman. Think about Batman and Arkham Knight and all the things you can do in the beginning and all the things you can do at the end. And that's the sort of stuff. We're still the same people, they're saying, basically, that made these Arkham games. Yeah. I think that sounds pretty good. And if it's like we're saying, if it's mostly cosmetics, I'm in.
Right. If it feels like something that you don't have to have to enjoy the game, like I feel about Sea of Thieves, I usually use that as an example because I do feel like that's the case. You do not have to have the pass at all to enjoy Sea of Thieves. But I enjoy the things that I get from it. And when I'm in like a bout of playing, I will usually reinstate it because I enjoy it. Yeah. But it doesn't make me better at the game. It doesn't give me a playing advantage in any capacity. It makes my ship pretty.
Yeah,
and gives me a nice pirate coat, you know?
And if everybody has a chance to like get the same stuff, or if it's like, hey, this is a coat and it's just a coat. It does not confer any coat-like abilities onto you.
Which is the case in Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, and you have to pay for this one coat and it's only available to the people who paid. I go, well, I guess I don't get that coat.
Right, or
maybe I get the coat. Maybe I get the coat. 21 free meals using our code.
Actually, as a reminder, for those who maybe missed the intro of the show, hi, today's episode is sponsored by HelloFresh. You can use our code and the link in the description to get 21 free meals and plus shipping.
If you're the sort of person like me who buys sandwich ingredients and then eats them all one at a time in a handful because you don't want to cook, HelloFresh will help you with that.
Or if you're like me and you buy a bunch of ingredients with lofty goals of cooking for yourself and then all of them go bad in your fridge, I need to clean out my fridge today, you can get just the right amount of ingredients to make the thing that you want to make, because I always guess wrong.
Yeah.
I'm never right about the amount of ingredients I need. I've never once been right.
I'll tell you this. Going into a grocery store and knowing exactly what you need, is that like a mutant ability? Is that like a Terrigen Mist thing? What causes that? I don't understand what causes that. Hey, you know how in the beginning of this series, in the beginning of this show, we were talking about how like we don't necessarily need everything in our lives to get like a big adult reboot or come back. Not everything needs to come back.
No.
Some things are coming back. And this one surprised the heck out of me.
Okay.
There's a Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Netflix reunion special that's not like the cast sitting down or like a documentary that looks back on Power Rangers. It is the original Power Rangers coming back after 30 years and being the Power Rangers again.
Yeah, that's awesome. Also, I wanted to answer, Miss Reapers asked, does HelloFresh ship to the UK? They deliver to mainland UK, the Isle of Wight, the Isle of Man is a list, Northern Ireland.
Definitely check the HelloFresh site and see where they see where they deliver.
I'm just going to say all your places wrong.
So the Power Rangers are coming back. The original Power Rangers, after 30 years, are doing a special on Netflix on April 19th. It's called Power Rangers Once and Always. And I just want to say, like, yeah, Billy's 50.
Yes,
Yes, Billy's definitely 50.
Sure.
Like when you look at these photos.
Allowed to be 50.
That David Yost posted.
The Wi-Fi's acting up.
Oh, is it? There it goes.
There we go. It's moving a little slow today.
So there's a battle damaged 50-year-old David Yost, Billy the Blue Ranger. We've got here's a cast shot. We've got Rocky the Red Ranger, who came in after season 1. I realized that I probably only saw season 1 of the original Power Rangers.
Oh, okay.
Because I did not realize that Austin St. John left so early on.
Got it.
And became like the Gold Ranger. I think that happened in a Power Rangers movie. Was that like a Turbo or something? I don't know.
I don't have the slightest recollection.
But I do recall that that Kimberly Jo Johnson booked Felicity and left the Power Rangers. I remember that. And so there was a new Pink Ranger, Cat. Zach is there. Of course. So some of the things that people might be asking, if you were a fan of the original Power Rangers, is like, what are they going to do about, what are they going to say about like Toy Trang, who was the original Green Ranger, who unfortunately passed away in a car accident at 27. There's an actor in there who's playing her daughter. He's playing Trini's daughter, who I guess helps to get the Power Rangers together again. They also, you might be wondering what's going on with the Green Ranger.
Was the Yellow Ranger?
Yeah, that was the Yellow Ranger. The Green Ranger, Jason, who unfortunately passed away last year. Yeah. And they haven't mentioned what they're going to be doing about that, but I would imagine they're going to mention it in some capacity. But this is such a wild thing. There is a new Power Rangers series that's coming to Netflix after years of being on the Disney Channel. Netflix now owns the rights to the Power Rangers, so they have Power Rangers Cosmic Force coming out at the same time. So I think this special is one of those things where it's like, let's get the parents in here,
right? So let them know, can show their kids the Power Rangers.
Yeah, let them know what's going on and let them know that Power Rangers is here now for their kids. I think this is very interesting. I don't know if it's anything that like I'm particularly. It's not for me, but I could see where like maybe there are some original Power Rangers fans who are like I bet if we called like Tim Geddes right now, or like if we called Xavier Woods right now, they'd be like, oh my god.
Yeah, 100%. This photo though, in particular, is giving me It Part 2.
Yes,
it's very much giving we're going back to It Part 2. Called him.
Called him. Listen, just because Kind of Funny calls people early in the morning and interrupts their days to ask them strange questions does not mean that we do that.
But you know what I mean? Like, it looks like even a specific scene in it where they're back in Derry and they go to find one of the guys and he's like, I've been living here the whole time.
Yeah.
I've been keeping track of it.
Mike. Mike was my favorite character in the book.
Yeah.
He really was. I mean, you'd think I would be a Richie Tozier guy.
Yeah, you would.
You'd think I'd be a Richie Tozier guy.
I would think that, I'll be honest.
And like maybe I was when I first read it when I was like 12 or 13. But I've really grown into a Mike guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the keeper of the lore, the one who stays there and makes sure, you know.
Makes sense.
I just love that. Who will be the villain? Rita is gone. I think it's Lord Zed. I believe the guy who played Lord Zed posted that he's part of it.
Fun.
Yeah.
Hey, while we're in a little bit of a nostalgia conversation, Anthony.
Yes.
I would like to talk about Neopets.
Of course.
Now, this is universally true. I would always like to talk about Neopets.
Right.
However, there's an actual reason. What's Dagger doing?
Dagger's kind of doing like, speaking of it or like a horror movie, Dagger's just like standing in the corner, facing the corner. There we go.
He's definitely just facing the corner of the door.
He was Blair Witchin' is what I call it.
Yeah.
He was definitely Blair Witchin' there for a moment and it freaked me out. Forget about real pets. Tell me about Neopets while I move this guy away from the corner.
I'd love to tell you about Neopets.
Come here.
Look, I was a Neopets kid. A show of hands for fellow Neopets kids in the chat. And everyone knows if you were like really in it, you were in like the marketplaces, and you know that's where the drama comes in. The drama comes in at the local storefronts. Okay, the buying and selling market on Neopets is where everything goes down. The like personal blog attempts of a storefront were a whole time. Now that is still happening. Now, I haven't been on Neopets in a good while because the last time I tried to go on Neopets, most of it was inaccessible due to the Flash player going down,
right.
Of course.
Now, may I ask, as somebody who was not a Neopets person, you're talking about player-to-player sales. You're not talking about official marketplace stuff. You're talking about the gray market of Neopets.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So you could have a storefront where you resold things that you have bought, and that was generally how things went up in value. You would have to go on obscure quests to get something, or be very lucky to get something, because a lot of items on Neopets, whenever you go to a store, they're like rotating.
Yeah.
Essentially, there's not guaranteed items fixed within stores. So a lot of the time, you would like go to various places and you would try to find certain things and resell them. So,
or like watch a McDonald's ad or something, right? They did a lot of that, didn't they?
They did do that. We covered this on the internet. I mean, look, it's a slightly long show today, so we could cover it. But a fun fact about Neopets, they were bought temporarily by a company that was Scientologist. They're not any longer owned by Scientologists. That was actually a pretty short stint in Neopets history. But what they also were people who were like, we use like the hyper like intense org board of Scientology, and at the time they patented the concept of secretly marketing to children.
Wow. And do you know why they were the ones that were able to patent it? Is because throughout history, so many people have tried to patent it, and the government used to be like, no. And then eventually we gave up on that. That's called Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
And you can look that up. And that's why we have Power Rangers and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, because they decided that you can make a television show that is just to sell toys.
Yep. That is correct. Now, with the Neopets thing, they were able to successfully patent it, and then later that was taken away from them because it was made illegal, because it was called integrated marketing, and as opposed to being like, hey kid, get your parents to buy this, it would be like, well, all the Neopets go to McDonald's.
All the Neopets are hungry, and the only thing that fill belly is Quarter Pounder. Quarter Pounder is, you can feed them regular food, but they'll always be a little hungry and sad.
Yeah.
So, you know, which is why we no longer have which is why YouTube is the way it is for kids, right? Because integrated marketing tries to sneak into every new type of media it can, without any sort of consequences. And it's up to that type of media to go, wait a minute. Hey, wait a second. So what's going on with Neopets?
So an item in Neopets called the Wand of the Darkest Fairy is worth millions of Neopoints.
What's the Neopoint to dollar conversion rate right now?
Why don't you look that one up?
Okay.
I'll keep getting into what happened here.
All right.
Now.
What is it? Okay, well then tell me, what does it take to get millions of Neopoints in the game?
I played for years. I never had a million.
Whoa.
I never had a single million.
Okay.
Did any of you, that's a good gauge of it. Did any of you in the chat, or if you're watching later on YouTube, hey, what's up? Let us know. Did any of you ever have over 1 million Neopoints? Because I never had a single million. And I signed on and did my dailies for years. I never got even close. I think if I logged onto my childhood Neopets account right now, I would probably have 20,000 Neopoints. And that would be like, yeah, I did all my dailies and I was doing well. Now, inflation rates is an important thing to factor because that was a while ago.
Hey, this is a nightmare. There's a site that tracks this in terms of the investment level of it. Don't worry, we got all of that bad stuff in integrated marketing out of Neopets. Apparently, Neopets right now is $23.48 per 50 million Neopoints.
Okay.
So that's not bad.
There's not a lot of real world currency attached to it because usually those kind of factors are actually based on if you can sell your Neopoints in some capacity. And you should have.
Anybody who put their money into Bitcoin really should have put it into Neopoints.
So, paintbrushes are a big thing and one of consistently the most expensive things on Neopets because they allow you to change the color of your pet.
Okay.
And the aesthetic. So if you have a dark fairy one, your pet is now a dark fairy pet.
Oh no, that's when you say dark fairy, literally every child's ears prick up.
Exactly.
Every child goes, a dark fairy? I can be a magical fairy, but also mysterious and potentially villainous?
Right.
Oh my.
It's the pinnacle of playing pretending.
Like a goth Tinkerbell?
Yes.
That's the dream.
It's me. I'm like a goth Tinkerbell because I'm a goth, and if you don't pay attention to me, I wither away.
But everybody clap. Clap for Saige.
Show me you believe in me. Okay, so in order to get this, you either have to buy it off of we'll call it the gray market in Neopets, or you get it by completing a job in Jidora's Bluff. It's a mini game where the NPC requests an item and gives you a set amount of time to obtain it. Jidora starts off asking for junk items, then her requests get progressively more expensive. She will even ask for items that are unavailable on the market that you would have to purchase secondhand on the gray market. So this quest is incredibly difficult to complete.
So this is a quest that's meant to be, you have played Neopets for years, you have all of these things in your inventory because of years of play and knowing this quest from start to finish.
Yeah, I'm sorry, this is actually a wand and not a paintbrush, but that's besides the point. Yeah. Wands have similar effects. So they calculated that it would cost an average currently to get your hands on the Wand of the Darkest Fairy 40 million Neopoints.
So that's about $20.
It's more than that, isn't it? Because wasn't that to
No, that's to 50 million.
Okay, all right.
But $20 to a child is $1 million.
It is. And you can't actually buy Neopoints.
Right, there's no way to
for it.
Yeah.
You can't do that. So I know this is ridiculous. I promise there's a story here. I promise. There's a thing called God, what is it called? It's not the giving tree. It's something to the effect. Anyways, there's a tree where you drop off free stuff. The money tree. Where you just donate shit.
Okay.
And somebody accidentally donated their dark fairy wand to the money tree. They just accidentally dropped it at the money tree.
That kid's parents were sending so many emails and so many tweets and so many Facebook posts to Neopets over the last however many days it's been.
So, here's how the money tree works. We're getting into it. How the money tree works is it is like a lost and found, but it is constantly refreshing. So, if you're a Neopets kid, you go to the money tree, you click on something as fast as you can. The second you see it, and most of the time, you won't get it because someone else got it first. And
is there a limit to the number of things you can get from the money tree?
No. You can, but you'll just sit there sometimes for hours and click on things, and you'll get 1 in 20 maybe, I would say on average. You'll get about 1 in 20 things that you click on.
So kids heard about this wand and flocked to the money tree, and then it became a free-for-all, didn't it?
Absolutely it did, but The person who goes by Alex Gag, that's their username, posted on Reddit about their tragedy of losing their wand.
Oh.
And they got the wand back.
The community got the wand back for them?
So the person who retrieved it from the money tree in particular saw the Reddit post. And even though no one would ever know how they got it and never be able to track it, because that's not how Neopets items works, they sent it back to Alex Gag. And I just think that's sweet.
Oh, the kindness.
And then it continued because they heard about the person who goes by Ortiz who gave the item back. So then a bunch of the Neopets community has been sending a bunch of lovely items to Ortiz.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I just thought we could use a piece of really
children.
sweet news. I know it's not really news, but it's so cute.
The children. They'll save us all. Because let me tell you something. Neopets, during our day probably, it would have been a free-for-all for that wand. I don't know that the community would have given it back. I think about my time. See, my addiction, we've talked about this before, was Phantasy Star Online.
Of course.
And Phantasy Star Online, you could trade items. And the way you would trade items is you'd have to go to a private room because there was no in-game trading. You'd go to a private room, you'd drop the item, and then cross the room and pick up the item and hope the other person didn't give you a shit item.
Yep.
And 9 times out of 10, baby, you got a garbage item. They did fake you out 9 times out of 10.
And that's the case for most MMOs.
And it's just like, oof. I thought that poor kid was gonna be, that poor kid was just gonna be at the money tree until the end of time. I thought their parents were gonna be emailing support.
And it wouldn't be at the money tree anymore. Someone swooped that up within a second. You know they did.
Ugh.
That's how fast things go with the money tree.
Baby, if there was a real money tree, whew,
I'd spend all day there.
I'd spend all day at the money tree.
Anyways, it made me want to play Neopets again.
Yeah? You're gonna jump back into the Neopets now that they're not dependent on the Flash player?
It seems like they have gotten around Flash, which is very interesting. Now, previously the game was still playable, but like a lot of the mini games were not, and the world maps couldn't load because of Flash. So
they got it all to HTML5 now. They're doing it.
Oh,
Hey, speaking of, oh my God, the name of your pet. Can we show the name of your pet?
No.
No? Okay. Bartok the Magnificent.
He's a little bad.
Real Anastasia hours.
It's named after the Batman.
Real Anastasia hours for little Saige. I love that. I love that.
I love him. Anyways,
You know,
what else is
speaking of nostalgia, this was not, we didn't put this in the thing, but I wanted to bring this up because we missed it last week.
Oh.
We missed the 20th anniversary of Trogdor the Burninator.
That's true.
Homestar Runner released a brand new short to commemorate the 20th anniversary of Trogdor the Burninator. And let me tell you something. Nothing on the internet is allowed to be 20 years old. That's weird. That's weird. But it's all, Homestar Runner apparently has a YouTube channel.
Yeah, I know.
And they've had it for like ever.
Yeah, I know.
And they've just been like reposting everything in HD.
Yeah, man, you haven't been watching Teen Girl Squad on a regular basis for the last 10 years?
I simply play it back in the theater of my mind. But seeing them all, like I watched a bunch of them in HD because they re-upped them, and then they did some of the classic ones, like they did the Halloween Party, but they did Halloween Party DLC, so it was the original Halloween Party cartoon, but they were all in updated costumes for 2022.
That's good. That's very
so good.
Bless Homestar Runner.
So good.
Bless.
I love that. Let's see what else is going on. Oh. Can I talk about this?
Okay, sure.
Can I talk about this while we're talking about like weird gamer culture things?
Yeah, let's talk about all the nothing news.
First of all, did you know that Pharrell had a $20,000 gold PSP?
I did not.
Yeah, it was a big deal back in the day, apparently. Pharrell had a $20,000 gold PSP. There it is. Got it done by Jacob the Jeweler.
Sure, of course.
The famous jeweler that we all know about because we're in hip hop culture, or because we played Def Jam Fight for New York, and he was a character in there, and you bought your jewelry from him. So he had it. Not only did he have it, he got custom cases and lanyards with valuable jewels and gems. And then Pharrell apparently a couple years back did a big auction of stuff that Pharrells don't need anymore. And everybody was like, hey, I wonder where that gold PSP went. It went to Drake. Drake went apparently to the Pharrell auction and bought a lot of Pharrell's hand-me-downs.
Which, hey, we never talk about Drake without saying, you know how we feel about Drake.
You know how we feel about Drake.
But this was the start of a new Drake music video. And there it is.
There's the gold PSP.
The gold PSP.
And that's the thing. Yeah, Jonathan Gore brings it up. He actually played that. Like, it wasn't a thing where Pharrell just like walked around to like one event or two events with it. No. Like, there were candid shots of Pharrell out in the wild playing his gold $20,000 PSP.
I truly think there's no better summary, other than some words we won't mention on this stream, of Drake than Pharrell's hand-me-downs. That's the thing that's most appropriate to me about this story is like, of course Drake buys his coolest, weirdest stuff at auction from somebody cooler than him. Of course he does. Of course he does. Why wouldn't he? But apparently it shows up multiple times in this video, and I love it. That's like the Queen's Gold Wii. Do you remember the Queen's Gold Wii? Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
She didn't actually
She never received it. She wasn't allowed.
Yeah.
The Queen doesn't take those gifts.
No, they made it for her and tried, but she never actually received the Gold Wii. You know what, Anthony?
What?
Let's stay in this nothing news.
It's not nothing.
Keep going.
It's not nothing.
Keep going in the nothing news.
It's not nothing. It's important.
You know what's important?
D me, Bella. What's important?
Keke Palmer has been on Twitter, on Instagram, live streaming playing The Sims, but not how you would think that one might live stream playing The Sims.
No, she's just like pointing her phone, right? She's not like live streaming.
Yeah, no,
she's like giving updates on her live about her Sims game.
She's just on live showing her screen with her camera about her game in The Sims.
I love this.
So cute. She's hilarious. It's got very funny commentary, but there's so many of these videos. And she just seems like she's having a very good time, and it's very funny to see celebrities get bored.
Let's do a little of this narration. I'll bring it up.
Yeah, show us the second video.
The second video. This one?
Sure, that one.
Which one's the second
one?
That's
great.
This one?
Hey, man, it's all good.
This one? This one?
Just
this one?
Just play a video.
All right.
You got this.
Look, this is how
this
this lady's supposed to
yes,
look.
Anthony.
Look at this. This is how this lady's supposed to look. Remember this. This is how this lady is supposed to look. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this girl. Y'all about to be scared. Look at this girl. Ah! Why does she look like this? I have got to fix her. Let's sit together and leave the lady outside because she is scary. She's like a horror movie. Don't come in here. Ah! Don't come in here. Oh, no. Anyway, so I was talking to this homegirl. She was talking to me crazy. I went off on her. Next thing you know, they was tripped out. Stop, see?
It's... I don't know, man. Beautifully amateur is a great way to describe it. It's just adorable. It's very endearing. I think it's very funny. I think it's sweet.
Yeah. This is like when all the celebrities got on Animal Crossing and then all went on Gary Whitta's show showing off their islands in Animal Crossing.
Yeah. I think she'll be on Twitch by the summer.
Oh.
I think she'll be on Twitch by the summer. People are loving this shit.
Keke Palmer, get on Twitch.
Right?
Get on Twitch.
Let's take predictions as to when Keke Palmer gets on Twitch.
Next week, 2 weeks.
You think in the next 2 weeks?
If this is blowing up now, assuming she's not No, even if she's on set working on something right now, I'm going to say everybody's reaching out to her. Somebody high up at Twitch is like, Kiki, we'll fly to you.
Please. We'll stream it for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Twitch, play The Sims.
Twitch loves that stuff.
Just play a little Sims, please.
Yeah, people are saying before next Valentine's Day, before Friday. Direct connection, Jonathan Gore says direct connect to T-Pain, and T-Pain's already on Twitch. Yeah, T-Pain's like a Twitch and podcast guy now.
Yeah.
And like crushing it.
Yeah.
Like crushing it.
Truly.
Skywalker says somehow Mixer is trying to get her. Somehow Mixer's
Back
just like, can we do that? Is that something that we're allowed to do?
The grave trying to get Kiki Palmer.
Hey, speaking of Mixer.
Oh?
Things are interesting over at Microsoft right now.
Oh?
Yeah, so Microsoft this week announced that they are going to make 10,000 person cuts, 10,000 person layoffs.
The layoffs this week have been awful.
Yeah, there's been a lot of game industry layoffs this week. There's been a lot, just a lot across the board. But Microsoft this is 10,000 people. It's about 4.5% of their total workforce. And yes, that does affect Bethesda and Xbox. Now, this is very interesting for a number of reasons. First of all, these are just huge layoffs. But second of all, because these layoffs were announced on the 1-year anniversary of the announcement of the intention to take over Activision. A $69 billion buyout of Activision and cutting 10,000 people from their workforce. Think about that. They're still trying to make that merger go through. That money is still on the table, and they've decided that they're going to cut 10,000 people. Now, these cuts do go to a lot of studios that we know, like I said, Bethesda, but also 343 has confirmed a lot of layoffs, particularly in the single-player division of Halo. Multiplayer, not so much, which kind of tracks for the way Halo's single-player has been going. But we're talking about, like, HoloLens also got cuts. You know, we were just talking about XR and VR and what Microsoft thinks of that. A significant number of layoffs happened across 343. Jason Schreier has corroborated this claim, saying that several employees indicated that 343 has been hit hard. The Coalition, the developers of Gears of War, also got heavy layoffs. We've seen a lot of leadership and different engineers tweeting from different divisions, including PR at Bethesda. A lot of them got laid off. And you know, first of all, we hope everybody lands on their feet. We know that there are a lot of layoffs going on right now.
Yes.
It's been very, very tough. But number two, like, let's just take a moment to think about, we're going to put $69 billion on the table and lay off 5% of our workforce. I hate that. I hate that.
I also hate that.
What does that mean? That means you don't have that $69 billion. You don't have it. Okay? Because if you got rid of that many people, Activision is beleaguered enough. What are you going to do? You're going to buy Activision and then you're going to lay off all of those people who right now are sticking it out through all of the horrible stuff that Activision's going through? You're going to make that the end to their story? I hate that. And you know, we talked about the big, massive, the long arm of Microsoft and how Microsoft is buying up and expanding so quickly. And we have been asking this question, right? We've been asking, how long can they do this?
And I think we've found the answer.
Yeah.
Quite simply. I mean, look, we were avidly against the acquisition of Activision Blizzard for an abundance of reasons. And though there are the surface level ones of the company of Activision Blizzard, this is also a huge one of them. You shouldn't be buying companies until everyone at your company has job security and a decent living wage.
Yeah. it's a real bummer. And, it's obviously, we've been talking about how long can Game Pass keep going on? How long can they keep offering things at these prices? And, Phil Spencer has said, we're going to have to up these prices very soon. And they talked about they're going to do it after the holiday season. So if you're looking at Game Pass right now and you're thinking this is the best deal in gaming, which it is, be prepared for that to change after you buy your fancy new Xbox for the holidays and they've locked you into their ecosystem. We've sort of said that these moves are coming. They have to.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as a free lunch. Like, it's just not going to happen. And, one thing that I do want to say is I've seen a lot of people, probably younger people, probably people that don't understand the world quite as much. A lot of people are mad about what this is going to do to their game release calendar. To which I would say to you, shut up.
Yeah.
Hey, kid, shut up.
Fictional made-up child.
Hey, yeah, that's right. I'm bullying made-up children. But here's the thing.
Anthony, please not today.
Listen, the child isn't real. But this is the thing. No game, and we've said this 100 times, is worth the mistreatment of people,
Nope.
the mistreatment of employees, ruining somebody's work-life balance. Or making people crunch so you can play your video game. All of these studios are now, we're coming out of a pandemic. We're coming out of a weird economic time, a weird time to make and produce things. And we're going right into a season of layoffs because honestly, inflation isn't real and it's made up, and they decided it was time for layoffs. So if you see anybody worried about what's happening with their games, if you see anybody going, how will this affect Starfield?
You say, shh.
How will this affect the people that were making Starfield is the answer.
Human beings. Remember the human beings.
Remember the human beings.
Please.
The beans.
Please think of the beans.
Think of the beans.
Everybody, can we just all have a moment? Can we all take a moment for the beans?
Oh, by myself.
Thank you, Anthony.
You're welcome.
I will be honest, I tried to think of the human beings affected by it, but I did get distracted mentally thinking about cat tokens.
Wait, that's a tracker.
Yeah.
That goes up.
Yes, Anthony.
I had no idea that went up.
It does. Somebody signed up. As a reminder, you can sign up for HelloFresh for free. You get 21 free meals. You don't have to buy anything to participate in this. And you get free shipping on it. So it's literally 21 free meals, which if you're like me and you order on food delivery services way too often for like pre-prepared food, that saves a lot of money.
Some of these meals might include beans. We can't guarantee.
But they could. So click the link in the description. Click the link in the chat popping up right now. Use the code that is right there on the screen and in the Stream Elements command right there. And get your 21 free meals.
Free meals.
It is so delicious, so tasty.
News.
Okay.
What's it about?
News. Okay, we have to acknowledge it really quick because I simply assume that everyone will freaking murder me if we don't. Wizards of the Coast apologized for the OGL leak. We're not going to spend a long time on this because I cannot begin to explain to you how exhausted I am.
No.
Talking about it.
We did a very, very long breakdown of what we thought of the leak, what we thought of everything in a previous episode. You can watch that on the VODs and on the YouTube.
And that was a very early idea of it. In summary.
Now, there was an initial apology from Wizards, which did not hit right. This is the new. And the new hit a little better.
So basically they were like, hey, first of all, to put the worries to rest, you own your stuff. Don't worry about that. And then they were like, we're just going to go into playtesting. We're just going to post all of this for you of the real stuff. And they're going into actual testing of the OGL and getting people's opinions on it. Now, supposedly, that is what they were always planning to do, but the leak intercepted that along the way.
Right, and like we said last time, we did hear things of that kind, but we can't. They all came from inside Wizards, and like who knows? But
I'm not going to be another one of the people on Twitter that's like, I have sources, and sources confirmed. But here's what I will say: I'm done giving opinions on the OGL. We'll see what the OGL ends up being, and then we can give opinions on it again. Absolutely, their update is a much more positive outlook for people who are impacted by that.
Yeah.
Like, it absolutely is. It's not done. We are not there. But it is a more positive place that we have landed on than we previously
I'll tell you what I think mostly of this OGL stuff right now. I think this OGL stuff has mostly turned into Paizo PR drifting off of this to bring themselves into the limelight.
Which, you know, we also talked pretty in depth on how we feel about Paizo. So, with that in mind, while we're here, I do want to talk about a really nasty little phenomena that
Gremlins?
Up. No, I love a gremlin.
I mean, listen, a gremlin, a little gremlin, but they are a nasty little phenomenon.
I want to give them forehead kisses.
Sure, but they're a nasty little phenomenon.
Don't want to give forehead kisses to the people on Twitter who decided to like really weirdly clout chase during the anger about all of this.
Woof.
You had people that were genuinely concerned about their businesses, and that was a very valid criticism and a very valid concern. There was people who were like, oh shit, does this impact me? Turns out for most of those people, and like the small businesses that we were worried about in the beginning, that was never the case, just based on the actual material. Because of that $750,000 mark, that's not a small business anymore, but there are people that were impacted, and it was valid for people who were impacted to be concerned about it. Mm-hmm. Now, with that in mind, though, people just took that concern, that fear, that anger against Wizards of the Coast, against Hasbro, and they just, I mean, there were people gaining thousands of followers in the last week just because they were taking the opportunity to trash Wizards of the Coast, to trash Dungeons and Dragons as a game. A lot of people out here that literally have, like, D&D in their bio, D&D in their name and stuff, being like, I never liked that game anyway. Screw Wizards of the Coast.
There's
just like, whoa.
There's a term for this, right? We call it disaster artists. We call it disaster tourism, where people take something, take a legitimate thing and take the concern about it, and use the outrage to, like we just were saying, drift on that momentum.
So here's what I'll say. Hey, everybody. Not everyone on Twitter is a journalist. And sometimes when these stories come out, everyone really wants to be a journalist. And you'll hear people saying things like, sources at this confirm. If they are not citing their sources, and there's no logical explanation as to why they would have those sources, you should probably not believe them. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people who were like, and I don't want to be a jerk about it, but like of no professional ties, we'll say.
There are a lot of people last week whose uncles worked at Nintendo.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, all of a sudden, everybody's uncle worked for Nintendo and heard that in Super Mario Brothers 3, you get a shotgun.
And it was just like really intense things constantly where they were like, I heard that Matt Mercer's getting replaced by AI and all the players are going to be NFTs now and you have to pay for it. And it's like, hey, everybody, maybe that's made up.
That's actually such a wild reality that I kind of want to see it play out. Do you know what I mean? Like we're replacing, like, that's so wild.
Here's what I'll admit. I have maybe 30 Twitter drafts from this week.
You sent me screenshots of some of them.
I have maybe 30 Twitter drafts from this week. A personal favorite is sources confirm that in one D&D, all clerics will have to be Christians. Mm-hmm. A personal favorite of mine. But like, that was the energy this entire week on the internet.
My answer,
people with no sources.
My answer was post them all.
Yeah.
That was my answer, which is why you should never send things like that to me. But listen, here's the deal. this license is in the works, and I think we've decided as a team that even though we haven't really spoken directly about this in so many words, I think we've decided as a team that we're done with this until there's actual news about it.
Yeah, I think that's it. So we just wanted to touch on it because last time we spoke, I believe I was called a shill and a corporate mouthpiece, and then the person went to Twitter and was like, I didn't get to force you to listen to my opinion on it. I agree with that. I double down on that to everything I said and meant. Let it go. It's okay. The people who are actually affected by this can continue to work through it and work with it. And soon there will be more updates to come. But in the meantime, I think we can maybe all settle down on the enjoyment of outrage.
Tranquilo, Cecino.
I think that's where we're at on it. I'm personally not boycotting anything. There's a lot of companies. You know,
I mean, we're boycotting a lot of things.
That's what I'm saying.
But
I love a boycott.
we will boycott. Oh, please, you look at me the wrong way, boycott it. Somebody, if somebody does not call my dog a perfect prince when he's wearing a little sweater, boycotted. If they're out of the particular ice cream that I like, boycotted.
God, every time I go to a frozen yogurt place and they don't have a plain chocolate, boycotted. But, you know, when the options are Paizo, boycotted.
Can I tell you where I'm at? For a second, I thought you were saying there was an option for pie.
I'm so sorry.
And boy, oh boy, did I really, I'll tell you.
I'm not boycotting pie.
No, we would never boycott pie.
I might boycott a particular pie brand. I don't have one in mind right now.
Sure, but all they need to do is look at me wrong. We've established that. In some more news about things to boycott, though. The great suing of AI has begun. The lawsuits have started happening. Stable Diffusion is getting sued by two massive and different suits. The first one, like you may have noticed that in some of this AI art, people will tell you, or in the AI artist community, right? Because the prompts that they write are art.
Yes.
There's an art to the prompt. You may have noticed that in the AI community, they will tell you, hey, you know, a real way to make sure that you get that good, clean art is to put no watermarks. Now, if an AI has been trained on millions of different images, and you say the only way to get clean art out of it is to say no watermarks, what images is it scraping and reusing?
And notoriously, it has been scraping and using Getty Images.
Oh, baby.
Getty Images is a titan of the internet. Getty Images cornered an entire market of this. Look, as people go to public events, you don't mess with Getty Images.
No.
You do not do anything. If you repost the photo, you post it with that watermark. Don't you try to get rid of it. Don't you try to get rid of it.
If it's a photo of you, it don't matter. You keep that Getty Images watermark in. 30% for clout, because that means you were at an event that Getty Images was taking photos of, and 70% because you can't even use that image of you that Getty Image took. This is their image.
So, notoriously, Getty Images is incredibly strict on their ownership of their images.
I never in my life have come down on the side of Getty Images. But baby, I am in the corner of Getty Images right now.
Let's go, Getty!
Because this means that this AI was scanning commercial images. And you may say to yourself, hey, a human being can use commercial images for reference too. Sure. Prove it in a court of law. And sometimes it is.
Right.
Artists have been taken to court for tracing over copywritten images. It's happened. There is a precedent for that. You can't just steal an image.
You sure can.
So Stable Diffusion, which is the biggest AI out there, this is the one that's open source, but runs their own commercial installation, which is what most people use. If you're an app, one of those apps that does a fun avatar for people, you use a commercial version of Stable Diffusion that you license. They make a lot of money off of this.
Sure do.
And Getty Images is saying, no, you don't.
Not anymore, you don't.
No, you don't.
So what's interesting about this is a lot of artists have been leading the charge on, hey, this is stolen work, this harms me, this affects me, this is not okay. But a lot of those artists do not have the money to sue Stable Diffusion.
Yep.
Getty Images sure does.
That's right. But talking about those artists, there is now a class action lawsuit by a bunch of artists. One of them is an artist over at, oh my gosh, I'm blanking. She's one of the artists that worked on Jedi Fallen Order over at Respawn.
Okay.
Carla Ortiz. She's also done stuff for Marvel. She's very good artist. She and a few other artists got together along with a bunch of other artists that they're sourcing now to file a class action lawsuit against both Midjourney and Stability AI and DeviantArt, which also recently, I don't know if you caught this, launched their own AI art generator called DreamUp, which they're training it on users' art.
Yup.
So this suit is alleging that companies violated the rights of millions of artists while training its AI art tool on their images without the consent of the artists and without compensating those artists. The harm is not hypothetical. Let me tell you something. Look up an artist named Greg Rutkowski. Greg Rutkowski is a concept artist and fantasy art artist who is huge in the conceptual artist space, but is maybe not like a name in every household.
Right.
But he's a name in literally every prompt I've ever seen for Stable Diffusion fantasy art. Greg Rutkowski. They put it all in there.
Yep.
Some of them put in if they want like a homemade art look, they put in DeviantArt. They put in trending on CG Station, trending on ArtStation.
Yep.
Which means, hey, AI, look at the things that you took from ArtStation and make my art look like that.
Yes.
That is harmful to artists.
So what's very interesting is I believe it was Stability that was like, okay. It's whichever one is on like the main app that everybody was using for a minute there. They were like, okay, hold on. We'll allow you to opt out if you are somebody who posts your art. You can opt out of being part of our training process. Right,
which requires the site that you post on to use specific tags that the spider won't crawl.
Instead, everyone should be automatically opted out and have the option to opt in.
That's right.
I'm sure that there are some people who were like, hey, with my consent, and that's not going to be the majority of artists, but I'm sure there are some people that are like, hey, with my consent, I would let you use my art to train a thing.
Yeah, or maybe you can give me like one page. Listen, I took photos for a stock photo company when my career was starting, and I signed over perpetual rights to those photos forever for a couple $100. That's still not great. That's still predatory, but I opted in, right? It's like those Simu Liu photos that came out.
Right.
Where he was like, yeah, I made $500 that day, whatever. Like,
now, I mean, there's like a lot of people are recommending the Spotify model, essentially.
Right. Well, which
isn't great.
No.
But it is better than it just being stolen.
Well, and it comes
from, Napster to Spotify is good.
Yeah, and it comes back to what you're saying about opting in versus opting out. You can say, hey, you can opt out of this. Is that reaching every artist in the world? Does every artist know about this? It's not on every artist to knock on your door and say, hey, please don't use my art.
Yeah.
That's not the way the world works.
Right.
You're not allowed to just use people's shit. It's not, if I walk into your yard and I start just like chilling in your hot tub, it's not like, oh, well, you didn't tell me I couldn't use your hot tub.
They didn't tell you could.
Yeah, but you didn't say no. Listen, do you want me to get out of your hot tub?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll get out of your hot tub. That's all you had to say. I don't know why you're being such a jerk about this. I gave you every opportunity to tell me that I'm not supposed to be in your hot tub.
I didn't even know you were in my hot tub.
Yeah, but I told everyone that they could just tell me if they didn't want them. Like everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that.
How many hot tubs are you in?
Right now, just yours.
I mean, on a week-to-week basis.
Well, this is a good street.
There are a lot of hot tubs on this street.
Take a little dip, take a little walk, take a little dip.
But that's my friend's hot tub.
Yeah.
Can I tell you not to get in my friend's hot tub?
You don't own that hot tub. You can't tell me what to do with it. Scene. But that's like the entire internet. All tech companies have this thing. They use opt out like it's mithril armor.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they're just like, well, we gave you the ability to opt out. It's like, I don't know who you are. Do you remember when there was like a few years ago when there were those people search sites?
Oh my God.
Like a Spokio and things like that were just like taking all of your personal information from everywhere, and you had to say like, hey man,
Please don't give the internet my address.
don't do that. And they were like, you had the opportunity to opt out anytime you wanted to. It's like, I didn't know you existed until some weirdo had my address.
It's ridiculous.
Ridiculous. Listen, I'm a proponent of AI and machine learning in general. I do believe that that it is the next step in a big way for humanity to move forward, but it has to be done ethically, and it has to be done for the correct reasons, and it has to be done in the right way. You know, there are people that are like trying to use it right now. They're saying this AI will write a script for you, plan your vacation for you. It'll do your art for you. Forget the fact that every AI art has 90 fingies and 7,000 teeth. Any human who smiles in AI art has 7,000 teeth.
There was a bunch of those that were real weird where they were going around and they were trying to capture this like specific like party pictures.
Yes, I saw that.
It was all front teeth. So it was all just copies of front teeth.
They had one. They either have one big front teeth or like a million teeth.
A million of the front tooth, though. The one specific shape of your front tooth.
No, and in those party pictures, there was supposed to be like 8 people, but it was clearly 2 women over and over, and it was really creepy. It was supposed to be like a British party. I saw this because it was an artist who reposted it, going like, "I'm not worried about AI art because if you really want this art with too many fingers and too many teeth." Like, that's not taking my job. Like, here it is.
This is from Midjourney.
So this is this guy Miles, who clearly loves AI art, who's like, Midjourney is getting crazy powerful. None of these are real photos. None of these people exist. One big middle tooth.
Wait, these are the ones.
Wait. That's the same person.
That's the same woman's face and the same tooth.
Those are Shark Woman clones. Get out of that party. Now go over to the hand holding the camera. That's one hand holding a camera. And that's just one camera. Now, what? These people are going to devour you.
Yeah, this is the poster for a horror movie. Look at that one tooth copy and pasted everywhere.
Look at that. And then sometimes the teeth are just ultra thin, like Fang style.
Yeah.
And there's that woman again.
There she is.
With a different haircut. Like
everywhere.
So people are talking about this, and it's like, and they're trying to say it as like, it's going to save you money. It's going to save you time. It's going to save you, like, creative labor is so hard. Yes. That's why you should hire people who do creative labor. Now, here are just some boys. They're having some fun. They're going to do some shots out of these little cups, and they're just holding these little cups with their regular fingies.
3 of the same man.
3 of the same man, simply holding. Now go directly underneath the blue and white cup, please. Go up a little bit more. Where are those fingers coming from on that forearm?
Right here.
That's an arm. That's a forearm full of fingies.
Yeah, it is. All the same guy.
All the same guy.
Oh, wait, hold on. Surprise hand.
Surprise hand with a floaty fingy. A little fingy floaty.
2 of the same guy again.
Now, he's like, I had to be specific in order to get male-looking AI people. Now, that is for disgusting reasons that we all know. And then also...
That's too many fingers.
Also, if you just say people...
3, 4, 5...
Stability, AI, and Midjourney, we'll just put white people in.
Hey, man, that guy's got 8 fingers on one hand.
Yeah. And he's married. He shouldn't be at that party. He's married. He shouldn't be out drinking with the boys like that. His significant other should know where he is. So, yeah, you know, there were a lot of artists responding to this with like, yeah, man, indistinguishable from real people. Sure. put that out there and see what people say about your weird advertisement.
Yeah.
So I do believe that like AI is not going to drive the cost of labor down for the people that think it's going to drive. It's not going to do it.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen that way. It's simply going to make bad things. AI is going to become very good at stuff, but the things that it should be doing for us really shouldn't be creativity. Machine learning is doing wonderful things for like work automation and stuff like that.
Absolutely. And it's a bummer because like as a teenager, I was obsessed with AI.
Same.
I was so fascinated by it. I thought it was the coolest technology in the world. I spent so much time talking to AI bots online just because I wanted to know everything about it. And as a kid who was just interested in the field of like tech.
Chatting with the Eliza bot and stuff.
Yeah, mine was Cleverbot.
Yeah, Cleverbot came later.
Cleverbot was
yeah.
very popular. So it is a bummer to see that AI is now kind of like intrinsically associated in like, at least in the momentary pop culture conversation of it, with AI art and with theft and things like that. Because I do still think that the technology is interesting and important.
Yeah, and there is a level where it's like, well, what about using loops to write songs? What about, what about using stock footage? What about all this stuff? And it's like, I understand where you're coming from. There is a certain amount of things that you do need to automate. Everybody has to work within a certain budget.
Right.
But AI is not going to get you there. That's not what it's going to do.
Correct. Ben Jack said we should be using machines so that people do not have to work deadly jobs anymore and have time to do creative stuff, not the other way around. I do agree with that.
That's the thing. Listen, we're all trying to get to luxury space communism. We're all trying to get there.
We're all trying.
And the problem is the big monies are in the way right now. We got to get the big monies out of the way.
We got to get the big monies out of the way. There's like a couple pieces of movie news that we'll just like touch on really quick and then we'll wrap up the show.
Yeah.
We'll do a little wrap up.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, I know yesterday was a holiday for you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
To everybody who celebrates Scream trailer release day. I hope you had a very screamy day.
A very screamy day.
Yeah.
Now, this is
May
not the first...
Skeet Ulrich bless and keep you.
May he.
May.
We're not going to watch the whole trailer because we really don't want this video to get taken down.
Yeah.
That's a very funny automod catch.
I'll say this about the trailer.
Yeah.
If you love Gale Weathers like I love Gale Weathers, this was a great trailer.
So we're gonna skip around in a little bit and just show kind of like bits and pieces.
So this is great. This is they run in and they're like, hey, help.
Skip around through some of
and everybody's like, what are you talking about? And then he shows up in the convenience store and just goes on a rampage.
Yeah.
Ghostface goes on a rampage in this movie.
I'm very interested to see where this goes. I only watched Scream 5 like a month ago, finally.
Yeah.
And God, it's so good.
There was something. I've heard wonderful things. I still haven't watched it. Now, Skywalker brings up something. People were like, number one, people were a little weird about Scream just going to the city last time.
Yeah.
Which, hey, even Jason takes Manhattan every once in a while. You know what I'm saying? You can't leave it in the small town. You got to build this world. But I know that some people were like really mad about
Ghostface having a gun.
Ghostface picking up a gun, and I said to myself, yeah, that was a shocking and surprising moment. But also, why wouldn't he?
It's hey everybody, they have a gun in the first movie. He doesn't have a shotgun, but like. There's a gun in the first movie.
But I will say this. We are getting to that point in the series where Ghostface is getting those semi-quasi maybe superpowers.
Yeah.
Ghostface does a breach and clear in this trailer.
Yeah.
He does a breach and clear that is like military precision.
Yeah.
But I think...
Now, C. Dandino said killers evolve. However, Ghostface changes killers every time.
And one thing that I think is very interesting is they have a shot that's very much like a Batcave shot in this trailer that shows like a bunch of Ghostface suits and a bunch of this, and it's like, what is this?
Yeah.
And Gale says it's a shrine, and I'm like, is this a legion of ghost faces in this movie? How many ghost faces are there in Scream 6? Because that's the other thing is like, once you bring it into a city, I also wonder about things like copycats and things like that. And like,
and there's almost always 2 ghost faces per movie. There's usually 2 collaborators, but
everybody's like, probably 6. They're going to do it right. There should be 6 of them.
Alonzo in the live video asked, where does the 6 go in the word Scream? I say it's SCRE6M. So
it's the A. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like you could put it either in for the E or the A, depending on how that shape forms in your head.
Yeah, so I'm going with the A.
I'm gonna tell you this.
What you gonna tell me?
I'm gonna tell you this. I'm really mad about that they didn't do 5 Cream. I'm still bummed about it.
I know.
Like, it was right there.
It was.
But I'm also gonna say, boy, how lucky were they picking up Jenna Ortega
before
last
Wednesday.
movie, like right before Wednesday, and she is now the biggest thing in the world.
Yeah.
That crushes. I will also say, still a little bummed about Neve Campbell.
Yeah.
Still a little bummed about Neve Campbell. But the movie looks real good.
And Jenna Ortega is so good in Scream 5.
Yeah.
She's such a good, like, a lead woman of a horror movie. Like, she's so good. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. I will say, the role of the older sister, wasn't the strongest in Scream 5, but Jenna put that entire movie on her back and said, don't worry, fam, I got this.
She's very good. She's very good.
I haven't watched X yet. A bunch of people are talking about X.
Oh, X is supposed to be very, very good. I gotta go on like now that I'm in a better place mentally, I gotta go on like a horror movie thing and catch up on all the horror movies I missed. I was just in a place where I just didn't want any of it for a while.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You know?
Same, honestly.
But yeah.
I'm always down for a Scream.
Dude, he does like Ghostface does a jungle cat lunge in this trailer that must be a 10, 12 foot leap.
I mean, we don't know who's in the suit. Maybe it's a jungle cat.
You can't that's the problem, is you can't put a mountain lion in the city. It's an apex predator.
And so is Ghostface, so it makes sense. That's our predictions for Scream 6. All right, everybody. I think that's all of the news for today for the most part. I don't know. There's things. Yeah. You want other things? You want to do one more movie news?
Let's do one more movie news. This is some movie news that I was like, huh. I was very like, huh. So there's a Tron 3 coming, which you might think that I'd be excited about. Now, Tron 2.
Tron Legacy?
Not, some great Daft Punk video. There's a great Daft Punk video in the middle of that movie.
Looks really good on a Hector Navarro's 3D TV.
Oh, Tron Legacy was one of the first 3D Blu-rays I bought.
Looks really good on Hector's 3D TV.
I would argue that it only looks good in 3D because so many of the backgrounds are just plain black because they're going for that Tron look.
Sure.
And if it's not in 3D, it's like one of the most boring. Anyway, but it was also not the greatest film. But they're like, Tron 3's coming. I'm like, okay. Tron 3 Ares. I was like, great. Love the sound of it. Tell me more about this Tron 3. Jared Leto.
Tell me less about this Tron 3.
I don't need to know more about the Tron 3.
Yeah, I take it back. Actually, tell me less about Tron 3.
He is the lead. He is attached as the lead. He has been for apparently a few years. They just found their director, who was the director of the Maleficent movie and I think Pirates at World's End. Okay. He's in that Disney pocket and he makes good summer movies. Very, very bummed about this. Very, very bummed about this. But there was something hidden in that article, Saige, that bummed me out 30 times more.
Did you not know about this one?
I feel like maybe we had talked about it.
We did.
And I
I
blocked it out, or I thought that maybe it was no longer in development. Jared Leto is the lead in the upcoming Haunted Mansion movie.
Yeah.
Instead of letting Guillermo del Toro do what he wanted to do with the Haunted Mansion, they're doing some Jared Leto movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe we did cover this on the show a few months ago, but it didn't really set in because we can't believe it. We simply can't believe it.
You really think you're gonna outdo Muppets Haunted Mansion with Jared Leto? Come
I don't know
on.
if anyone's gonna outdo Muppets Haunted Mansion.
Come on.
Muppets Haunted Mansion owns.
That's ridiculous. This guy, what was the last thing Jared Leto was attached to that did well? That was like a Jared Leto thing. I can't even think of anything.
Oh, Morbius.
Did you see the new petition?
No.
That said, sorry, we were all busy again, release Morbius in the theaters a third time. It's got like 30,000. They're trying to bait Sony so hard.
I love that. It's very funny.
American Psycho. And here's the thing. American Psycho, not a Jared Leto movie.
Yep.
Jared Leto's in that movie for 7 minutes.
Yep.
That's a Christian Bale movie. I would say that's a Justin Theroux movie more than that's a Jared Leto movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a Chloe Sevigny movie. It's not a Jared Leto movie. Come on. Come on. He can be a very good supporting actor in something that's just a little out of his depth, if I'm honest. Put him in something good and make him the pretty guy that shows up that everybody hates for 5 minutes.
But not anymore.
Yeah, then.
Then, yes.
But
not
like,
anymore.
I don't know. Like he should be playing like Angel Face in Fight Club. You know what I mean?
Sure.
He shows up, he's pretty, he doesn't have a line, he gets
Give him an under 5.
Give him an under 5. He's in, he's out. But don't give him anything anymore.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
No. There's so many great actors in this city. So give it to them instead.
God, he was in Blade Runner 2. No, I remember.
We try to forget.
Anyway.
That's a bummer because I love the Haunted Mansion. Oh well. But hey, everybody, thank you for sticking around. We have a little bit of a long show today.
Yeah.
We missed you on Monday and Wednesday.
Yeah, we went a little bit longer because we missed you just a little bit more than usual.
Yeah, I was. That's my fault. I was away.
She was away.
I was away, but I am here now. So thank you very much, and we'll be here next week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 a.m. Pacific. If it is not 8 a.m. when we start this show where you are, that's on you. That's your problem. You figure that out.
Yeah.
We still get to do something fun and exciting though. We get to go order some HelloFresh food.
That's right.
We get to order a box.
That's right. And you can too. Just head over to HelloFresh.com and use our code that is in the chat right now. And also right there on the ding dang screen, you get 21 free meals plus free shipping. If you haven't tried it yet, you should. I do love a meal box. I love a meal plan. HelloFresh is a great one.
Yeah, they have fresh ingredients. They have seasonal ingredients that are really fun. I was looking right now actually at the order page here, and I haven't put my order in yet. And you get to choose your like size, 2 or 4 people.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're just one person, that means leftovers, baby.
That's right. And I do love that, like when I was vegetarian,
Yeah.
I could order vegetarian meals. You can be pescatarian. You can be like, hey, just send me like the healthiest of the healthy.
And like, look, I know in reality, I'm probably not going to cook all 3 meals a day. So when you do your recipes per week, you can factor what's realistic. If I want to make dinner every day this week or a few times this week. So I also, look, Anthony, it's for Saiges. I was selecting mine here, and
Yeah.
I will eat meat and vegetables, but also family friendly because I eat like a toddler.
That's right. You need to send something for the Bambini if it's going to be for Saige.
I'm somebody who eats off a kid's menu. That's my ideal meal most of the time. So if I select family friendly and they cater something that's like a little more kid friendly.
Yeah. Chi-Town is saying they also have high protein options if you're on a fitness kick. It's more customizable than you would think, and that's one of the things that I really enjoyed about it.
Yeah.
So please do. Hey, we just got another sign up. Thank you so much. You're going to enjoy those meals. So yeah, go check it out. We think you're really going to like it. And thank you to HelloFresh.
Yeah, we're going to order our box right now.
Yeah.
We'll get some food in, and then when it comes in, we'll report back next week.
Yeah.
So we got the whole weekend. So next week we'll report back on how we did, what the food was like. We'll let you know. If it's Saige Food Delicate approved, I get to make it how I like it. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about it. We are ordering our box right now, and you can do the same. Like I said, it's literally free. Like, you can just get 21.
Like 21. And here's the thing. Honestly, when I was doing the math, initially in my head, I number one, it is so many meals.
Yeah.
But I also, when I did the math in my head, I realized how few actual meals I eat. Because of how long I thought 21 meals would last me.
That's really bad.
It's really bad.
Don't do that.
Let me tell you something. I, as a neurodivergent person that needs everything to be laid out for me, and as a reminder that I'm supposed to do the thing.
Yeah.
It's really nice to have like the little labeled stuff and have it show up and be like, cook for yourself. You should make a food for you.
Yeah. So you get to select your meals as well. I will go through here. And I will do that.
Yeah, bring it up. Let's see what we can get next week.
I'm just making sure all of my personal information, like credit card numbers and addresses, are off stream. Okay.
Where did you hear about it? You heard about it from me. I told me.
Okay. All right, now we're on the Select My Meals page.
Okay. You want to pop this up?
Yeah.
Let's pop it up.
Yeah, we're ready for it. Ooh, there's things I'll eat on here. Hey, that's great.
Oh, the sheep pan. So Monterey Jack unfried chicken. That's cool. Meatballs with bulgogi. Oh my God, I would eat. Oh my God, I love a bulgogi bowl.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Pork sausage rigatoni rosa.
This looks delicious.
Rosemary demi-glace pork chops.
Ooh.
That's all very good.
Okay, so this is for Tuesday, January 24th, which is when this one would be delivered. And then you select the different days. You can edit your delivery for your timing and when you want them delivered, when's realistic for you to cook.
Yeah. What's that fifth bad boy down there?
This one is rosemary, demi-glace, and pork chops.
Okay, I got that already.
Yeah, this is too if you want to add an extra meal.
Yeah.
And you can remove it. You can add additional servings of the same one.
So if you looked at that day, and if you looked at that next week, and you were like me and you said bulgogi, and you put all 4 meals as bulgogi,
you're adding an extra L in there, bulgogi.
Bulgogi. They'll send it to you. They will absolutely send it to you.
Yeah, I can just be like, give me 2 bulgogi.
Yeah.
Let me go harder than bulgogi.
Bulgogi.
Anyways, it's a really good price. It's a lot less than I spend on groceries when I want to cook for myself.
Yeah.
And then all the ingredients go bad.
That's right.
With this, you get ingredients that are catered to the portions that you ask for the amount of people. And you get them already like packaged and separated. They also have a bunch of things like initiatives for the environment to make sure there's not like a ton of plastics coming in with it as well.
And also, it's the only thing your Neopets will eat. They'll always be just a little hungry and sad if you don't order HelloFresh.
HelloFresh is on average 25% cheaper than shopping at the grocery store, which is incredibly wild. And groceries are very expensive right now. So if you want to save a little bit of money, click that link. Hey, another person just signed up. I hope you enjoy your meals very much.
Thank you
very much. And hey, taking on sponsors like this helps us to continue to do this 3 days a week, and it's very cool. So thank you again to HelloFresh for sponsoring today's episode of It's Too Early.
Yeah.
We don't do this very often, so know that when we do, it's because it's cool, and we know that we can offer you something cool.
Yeah. So thanks again to them. And thank you to you, BBs, for showing up today and checking out the show. We really appreciate it. The whole ding-dang reason we make a show is so BBs will show up and enjoy it. So we hope that you did. Saige, when you're not doing this show, where are you at?
That's an excellent question. When I'm not here, you can find me everywhere on the internet at Not Saige. I stream on my channel typically on Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday, but my schedule is absolutely wrecked right now because of secrets. I'll tell you secrets soon.
Yeah,
Keep an eye
yeah.
on the Patreon. So if you want to see me next, you'll probably see me on the Patreon.
That's right. Thank you to our Patreon subscribers, by the way. We really, really appreciate that. You can find me, by the way, at a Carboni everywhere except for here on Twitch, where I'm at Anthony Carboni. Twitch, you cowards, it's mine. Give it back to me. You can also listen to my science comedy podcast with Jeff Kanata. It's called We Have Concerns. You can find it at wehaveconcerns.com. We just put out an episode about somebody who set the world record for staying in the quietest room on Earth without going cuckoo bananas.
That couldn't be me. I could set the world record for the least amount of time I can handle it.
I could set the record if the record was 30 seconds, if it was the record for the longest time Anthony has spent in the room.
Specifically for patrons, thank you very much to our stagehand tiers. Thank you very much to Alonzo, to Ronan, and to Moonkid for supporting and making this show possible.